Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. We're chatting yet again about the UK Chevening scholarships because the program is on for 2025. This morning, let me welcome back to the Now Morning Show Shinali Patel, the Head of Political, Economic and Press at the British High Commission in Port of Spain. Ronald Amon, who's the 2025 Chevening Scholar, and we have with us Andre Blackburn, the Political Public Affairs and Press Officer at the British High Commission. Good morning and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Good morning. Lovely to be here.
Good to have you guys back. Shannon, let me start with you.
Sure.
Give us an overview yet again as to what the Chevening Scholarship is all about.
So Chevening Scholarship is a educational bridge between United Kingdom and Trinidad and Tobago. Particularly, this has been running globally for 40 years now. We've had some amazing scholars in different fields. And this year, the applications have been open from 5th of August and will conclude on 7th of October. It's a fantastic opportunity to pursue a master's degree, fully funded, in any UK university, in any field. I think there's a bit of a myth busting that you can only do certain fields.
Okay.
And there is immense talent in Trinidad and Tobago. So it'll be great to see some, applications come through from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. In terms of the impact you've seen the scholarship have on people, what has been the response from those who've applied, those who've gotten through, those who've gone and done the program and come back?
I think the one thing that resonates with me is the desire to make a difference for your country. So whether it's music, whether it's arts, whether it's marketing, whether it's climate change, this year's scholars are a beautiful reflection of climate change and looking to do something around that and bringing them back to Trinidad and Tobago. And Ronald will touch on what he's pursuing. But what I really like is you want to come back to your country, going abroad and wanting to make a difference in your communities. I think that's the thing that resonates with me.
All right. I want to come back to, I have plenty more questions for you, but we'll come back to you. Ronald, let me jump across to you.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me what you're pursuing.
I am pursuing a Master's in Digital Engineering Management at the University College of London.
Digital Engineering Management.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, basically it touches or gets into the digital innovative processes that are used right now at the cutting edge of the construction industry. So we're thinking of, you're looking at rather things like AI, building information modeling, and different other processes related to construction off-site as well.
Yeah.
And how you manage that whole digitalization process from all the way from planning stage through construction and even onto maintenance.
Yeah.
It walks you through that entire process so that you have a full handle on the entire process, and that control then allows you to be more efficient in the construction.
Why did you decide to apply for the scholarship?
In a nutshell, cost, first of all, because studying in London is not cheap. It's not cheap.
Studying anywhere is not cheap.
You're correct. But what I realized, initially I was intimidated, to be honest. But what I realized is after you read the requirements and you get familiar, I realized after a while that what I did in the past, my experience and what I wanted to do, kind of aligned with the Chevening's objectives. And when I saw that, I decided to apply. Unfortunately, I was accepted and won the award. One of the awards.
Well, and I was congratulations again, Andre. In terms of how many people have applied so far, what is the eligibility like? Because I mean, we're talking about anything you want to study, you can study, right? But what do you have to? What are the boxes you have to tick in order to qualify?
Perfect. So I could say since Janali and I started this role 2 years ago, we have seen an increase in applications. This year we had a record number of applications. We had over 600 applications actually.
And it's not done yet because you haven't until October 7th, right?
Well, yes. So this was for last year's cycle.
Okay.
So it means that Ronald would have had to beat back a lot of people. And in terms of eligibility criteria, so first and foremost, you must have completed an undergraduate degree. Particularly, we look for someone who has graduated with an upper second degree class degree or first class honors degree. You must have at least 2 years of work experience. We do take into consideration community service and volunteerism because we know that not everybody has the opportunity to get the work experience after graduating. But I think most importantly, as Shanali alluded, Chevening is about giving back to your home country, so you must be willing to return to Trinidad and Tobago for these 2 years, to make an impact in your community and in the country.
Are there any consequences if you don't return?
Yes, there are. You have to repay the full scholarship.
Repay the full scholarship?
Yes.
All right. I'm just making sure people understand that part.
You must come back.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that part is very, very important. Chanali, tell me why this scholarship is so important to the British High Commission.
I think it's important to us because I personally believe, and so does kind of, the British High Commission, that education is a valuable bridge between our two countries. There is an opportunity to do a master's degree. I think the kind of scholars that we've had over the years are a reflection that the fields are diversifying. And they come from all backgrounds. That's the other thing I want to stress. There's a diversity element here. It doesn't matter who you are, age, race, gender. And we've seen that reflected. And I think it's a great thing to pursue that in a UK university, build a network, build an alumni. When we go to universities, we meet so many different people from different walks of life. And promoting UK culture, actually. UK is, fantastic, whether you're in London, Birmingham, Manchester, or even in Scotland. There's much to see, there's much to absorb. And bring that back to your country and engage, I guess, in the fields that you've chosen.
Yeah.
And we've seen that reflected through Ashley Burnett. She was one of our recent scholars.
Ashley, yeah.
Sasha Alexandra has done really well. So you see different individuals, female leaders and male leaders, giving back. And the final thing I really wanted to say is this year, for the first time, we have Proman Foundation on board as a corporate sponsor.
Nice.
So it's a plea that, corporate sector can get involved in this and sponsor scholarships. And they're looking at process engineering, energy sector particularly, kind of energy transition. And they're also looking at sustainability. So that's a really good kind of broadened area for individuals to come and apply.
Yeah. Ronald, tell me how you're going to take what you're studying and apply it to Trinidad and Tobago. What is your hope or your intention?
My intention is to try to find a way to provide housing that is better, faster, and cheaper. That is it in a nutshell.
Better, faster, and cheaper.
Better, faster, and cheaper. That's the goal.
Okay.
So the digitalization that I mentioned earlier, the thing about construction is that it's all about control. When you have control over the process, you can control your cost and other factors related to the construction. Digitalization is one of those control factors. So by the course allowing you to, or teaching you how to manage that digitalization process, essentially you're gaining control over general elements of the construction, the planning stage, the design stages, and all of that keeps cost in check, it keeps labor in check. And even manufacturing some of the components off-site also provide that. There are other elements such as what is called digital twins. So what you would do there is that you basically model the entire project in 3D on a computer before you get to site.
Yeah.
So you get to work out all of the inconsistencies in the project first.
Well, at least in theory.
In theory, yes.
Yeah.
Because, construction has its...
I was about to say, when you reach on site and you realize you have a hole that wasn't there before because the rainfall for 2 days and it becomes problematic.
But all of that comes into the digitalization in that you can conduct your site surveys in advance. All of that site information you can feed into your 3D model.
Are we at a place right now in the construction industry whereby we can apply these things with no additional cost? Are there digital systems in place already, or is it that we're going to have to make an investment into whatever it is? I mean, what you're studying, you're going to have to make that investment to be able to apply it to the construction industry.
For the most part, most companies will need to make that investment. I don't believe a lot of the local companies are really on board to that extent. Where I worked previously at NH International, they've started that digitalization drive and committed large sums of money investing in software to get staff up to date. So for the new project that they're doing now in St. Lucia, it's being done on that building information modeling kind of platform to kind of provide a smooth process for the coordination and the construction.
So it is the way forward, and it's just for a matter for you to become a master of it so that you get the opportunity to lead the way.
That's right.
Definitely looking forward to it. Andre, how many scholars do we choose on an annual basis?
So we don't have a fixed amount of scholars. This year we are fortunate to increase to double our scholars. We had 2 last year and we have 4 this year, in part thanks to the Proman Foundation sponsorship. And we're hoping to have more sponsors next year. So hopefully we'll have 5 or 6 scholars next year.
Okay, so in terms of the fields that are covered, do you have boxes that you want to check, or is it just a matter of whoever applies once they fit the criteria? And what is the selection process after they fit the criteria?
Yeah, that's a good question. In terms of fields that we are looking at, so the UK has strategic areas which include climate and nature, growth, sustainability. So those fees, I think we will prioritize in addition to the fees that the Proman Foundation is sponsoring, which is engineering, process engineering, energy, and sustainability. In terms of the process, it's quite a rigorous scholarship, as you could imagine. So it starts with the application online. It closes on October 7th, as Shanali says. After that, there's a sifting process that goes through to October. After the sifting process, there's a reading committee that sort of assesses all of the eligible sort of applications. After that, we shortlist people for interviews, and after the interviews, then the scholar is announced. So scholars are announced. So it takes you from October to July. So it's a long and rigorous process, actually. Yeah.
Ronald, I see you smile when you mentioned the interviews. How was your interview?
I wonder if I should comment on that, or if Shanali should.
Well, I want to hear your perspective first before I go to Shanali.
I thought it went well. I thought it went well.
I mean, you get through, so it went well enough, right?
Well, actually, I was on the reserve list, which was interesting because what happened is when the announcement came out and I got the email, I found out I was on the reserve list, and it was heartbreaking to say the least, because you figure, well, you have no chance now.
It's like you're almost there.
Almost there, but not quite, you know. But luckily what happened is that after that, I said, you know what, let me still try to pursue what I'm doing. So I'm also trying to get a nonprofit off the ground to provide affordable housing.
Right.
And it just so happened that while I was in the process of registering that nonprofit, and I have to give credit now to Dr. Shafiq Sultan Khan, who was helping me through the process, and also my wife, Joanne, that's been supporting me through this entire thing. While I was doing that, I got the email that I was upgraded to the scholarship. So
nice.
At first it was surreal. It took a little while to settle in. It took me a day to tell my wife, because I wanted to make sure I was getting into the school that I wanted to get into. I had to check with them first, make sure I can still get in.
Yeah.
And then, you know, gradually I came to terms with it and started feeling really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So it's been fun.
Chanali, if you had to give advice to, Ronald, or any of these scholars who are going up to the UK to study, what should they be preparing, and how should they be getting mentally prepared and physically prepared for the program?
I think the first thing, and I think all of us go through this, I hate applications. They're never easy. Let me just be genuinely be honest about that. I would be lying otherwise. But we often hesitate in applying. We think, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to get through. Overcome that. I think just apply.
Right.
I think that's the first thing. And when you're applying, think about what you want to pursue and which university provides that, that equally you can bring back home. And in doing so, highlight where your leadership is. Highlight where you want to see a difference in a particular area. And how will you go about doing that, particularly through the degree, but also coming back. And my final thing is, you know, be yourself. I think this is the key thing. Often in the 2 years I've been doing this, what have really kind of, you know, struck out to me is individuals who are themselves in the interview and really have spoken from the heart and said, actually, I want to do this for Trinidad and Tobago. And Ronald is one of them.
What stood out about Ronald's interview?
I think what stood out is sustainable housing. I think if you look to the future, where we're evolving, you know, globally, climate change impact, I think we need leaders to think about that. How do you bring that back to the community? And I think Ronald stood out for that. But equally, I think my hardest job for Andre and I is there's so much talent. How do you kind of choose?
Yeah.
And this is why the reserve list sometimes comes in and then, you know, you get upgraded. But I also want to say, you know, please do apply. Trinidad and Tobago, you know, give this chance. You have till 7th October. And we do have information on our social media channels. So we have a social media channel, UK and Caribbean, on X and Twitter, as it was known, and Instagram. But we also have British High Commission and Trinidad and Tobago as well that you can. And there's a website. And we have fantastic alumni, actually, for 40 years. So reach out to them. And we're here to help you too.
But I wanted to find out one thing before we leave, though. In terms of life in the UK, life in college, should he be preparing anything mentally for that as well? Because I know it's not going to be the happiest and sunniest of days.
Yeah, one thing UK cannot have is the Trinidad and Tobago weather. That miracle can't happen. But I think Andre is a very good example, having studied that, kind of, giving some valuable tips.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I would say about the Chevening Scholarship, and we have told Ronald as well, is that you're supported, from, I would hope that you feel supported now, but when you're in the UK as well, you'll be supported. There is counseling, there's an amazing network as well that you could tap into, so he never has to feel alone. And of course, you have us here at the British High Commission in Port of Spain. Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Congratulations to you again, Ronald. We look forward to seeing the sustainable housing come into effect, all thanks to your digital engineering management masters, yeah?
Yes.
All right, guys. So we're taking a quick break and we come back with your birthday shouts on the Now Morning Show. Please stick around.